to Unraveling the Mind, and this is episode 5. I'm your co-host, IVARI, and we have...
1-0.
Judith.
So welcome back, and if you haven't already, just letting you know, PSA, subscribe to the channel, and also make sure to leave a like on this video. So today we're actually talking about, let's see, I believe we're doing Women's History Month?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's Women's History Month, but yesterday, March 8th, was actually International Women's Day. Yeah, to get it exact. Yeah.
Shout out to my old hardworking independent woman.
Shout out to all the girls, females that are holding it down.
Yep.
Absolutely.
POP, hold it down.
Yeah, so did you guys actually obviously, what was yesterday? Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So did you guys I don't know, post anything, or did you guys send shout outs to anyone specifically?
I mean, for work, yeah. I had to put together some graphics for work for the day, and then also last week, since it was the beginning of the month, I had a post for the month. But yeah, I mean that's really it. My dad actually messaged us in the group chat and was kind of just told us a little message for yesterday, which I didn't expect. He usually does, but I don't know, I totally forgot that he does. Yesterday I was so busy.
You remembered and you were just
yeah. And I also on Tuesday I completely forgot. I thought the Tuesday was the 8th. So I was a day ahead in my mind. My calendar was a day ahead.
Got it. Oh, that's so sweet though. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's a nice little message.
Yeah.
What about you?
I shout out my mom, my sister, and my shorty. I said Happy International Women's Day, and all the other friends I had. That's pretty much it. What about you?
Yeah, I think I was on the same boat as Judith. I didn't know until later at night, because I finally went on I think it was on TikTok, and people were posting about it, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know. So honestly, I just played it off. I was like,
yeah. And in his mind, he thought he sent us a message.
Yeah. That was your other group of friends.
Yeah.
Your other two Virgos.
We're getting replaced already.
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
I mean.
Okay, well, there might not be an episode 6, guys.
Yeah, we don't know.
No, but yeah, all in good fun. So, anything that anybody would like to share, as a message, but I guess I'll go first. So shout out to all the women, like we said, the moms, the sisters, the just the working women, the women who are staying home. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it, because you guys are honestly such an integral part of society, and honestly the day-to-day, it just revolves around what you put out there. But yeah, women deserve to be recognized, and I really hope that we continue to see more of that, and that that we have more empowered young females, and that they see how much society is changing, because I think for a long time I don't remember seeing a lot of that. Personally, elementary school, middle school, I didn't really see that. But I think it's really important, and girls should definitely feel valued. So yeah, shout out to everyone, and hope that the rest of the month also, highlights everything that you guys have accomplished, and definitely if you guys have anything in mind that you would like to accomplish, just take a risk, make it happen. So
yeah, and I know that there's every year apparently for I don't know exactly who decides, but every year they do a theme around International Women's Day, and I believe this year was equality, if I'm not mistaken, or I'm not sure really what it was, but I mean, it kind of tied into that. There's a lot of women in different fields right now that are coming out, and they're becoming the first woman to do so and so things, right? Over the weekend, I actually saw there was a lot of news or like a lot of noise about like the UFC fighter who won. She's a Mexican Mexican-born fighter, and she's the first Mexican UFC woman to win a UFC like match title. Yeah, match and title.
Wow.
There were, as of right now, there's 3 Mexican-born UFC fighters. But she is the first female in the UFC to win. Which was also like, everybody was shocked. Everybody's caught off guard because she wasn't like the favorite of that match. The other one was coming in strong. She was like the champ. So she actually beat like the champ. Like after I think the champ had like 8 winning fights. So she actually like, it was like right now it's like one of the biggest upsets of UFC because everybody wasn't like, people weren't expecting that. So she's like the first. Now right now they're seeing a lot of like stuff around that. There's also like I was mentioning before we started recording about the she's an astronaut, but she's also another Mexican-born female who, she's pretty young. I'm not sure how old she is, but she's pretty young. Her name is Katia, something like that. Katia.
Okay.
So her title, because her thing is actually Doctora Katia. So she has the doctor title.
Gotcha.
So we gotta emphasize on the doctor title. But actually for International Women's Day, Mattel, like the Barbies, they made her own Barbie, along with other, like the CEO of YouTube has her own Barbie now. Let me see. I have the other names of the other things. There's a space scientist, science and educator, Dr. Maggie, and marine researcher, and that's really it. But basically, their campaign for this year was trying to do like acknowledge females in STEM. So like, because that's a really like STEM already is very like. It's hard to get into STEM and all of that, but then they wanted to highlight women in STEM, so that's why they highlighted the astronaut and then like other scientists in there. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Definitely. Any thoughts?
My thoughts is we need a Jenny con las botas Barbie ASAP.
Jenny con las botas walking Teddy.
Exactly, that'll be fire.
1.0 Kendall.
Word 1.0 1.0 Kendall, but no, I get them props, bro. Shit, like there's a lot of women out right now that's making noises, bro. There's community leaders, activisms, artists, all that shit. It's fire, especially like women nowadays to get the recognition that they need, especially color women or ethnic women, right? You can say that. Yeah, diversity women are just popping up now, which is good, that the recognition that they needed. That's my only opinion. So shout out to all the independent, strong women. I like all of y'all. Y'all lit.
I was just gonna say, I was like, it wasn't there. I feel like there was, or maybe there is, but Barbie had like a make your own Barbie basically. Did they not do that?
I'm not sure. I just know that they've like in the last like the last few years, Barbie has basically tried to bring in more like different types of Barbies, like shapes, sizes, shades, like everything. Like they have like really interesting Barbies now, which is pretty cool. They even have like the Barbies in wheelchairs. I think that's pretty. They have the pregnant ones. Because my baby sister, like we get her, she's in her little Barbie face right now. So like they even have the little Barbies, like basically the little girls. There was one for like a dentist, right? Because like now they're doing different like themes, like dentist, like I think there's also a whole like astronaut, a vet.
The dentist one was missing a tooth.
Yeah, the little girl for the dentist one is missing a tooth, which I was like, that is hilarious. The fact that they made it like, and it's so funny because like she knows that it's like, oh look, she's in the dentist, she lost her tooth. So it's pretty cool being able to see that.
Barbie's I don't know that much about like dolls. You know, obviously, I know like that's a whole culture within itself.
Yeah.
People like collect, like
Yeah.
they literally collect all these dolls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Barbie's becoming the new like American Girl doll, or what was it that was like super.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, American Doll.
'Cause I mean, that's what it seems like. Because I see a lot of people like collect those and like like they actually keep them.
Yeah, I was recently I saw TikTok. Like TikTok has everything, right? Like I feel like I've learned so much on TikTok in the last since like TikTok was a big thing. Like I've learned so much on there. There was apparently like when Bratz came out, and Barbie was around. Basically, Barbie, like Mattel, ended up suing Bratz because they were like, "You're basically copying us." But then Bratz was like, "No, because we have these. This is our like thing." Because like it was mostly like Barbies. It wasn't your original Barbie, blonde hair, like tall, whatever. Bratz was like, you know, the with the lips and the color and like, so that's where they were like, no, it's not the same. And that's when Barbie, when that came out, Barbie basically was like, well, we can do that too. We can make I think the next one was like the Barbie You Can Do Anything or something like that, like their campaign about that, which I was like, I mean, yeah, but then Bratz ended up becoming really big at that time, so it was kind of like, yeah, you could try. But I mean, now when they're bringing in different careers into like Barbie and stuff like that, I guess now I see the change. Now you can actually be like, all right, they're expanding on that.
Yeah, it's more than just a face to put a character into.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
Yeah.
they're making a Barbie movie coming soon or something like that. So
Oh yeah, with I'm always gonna refer to her as Harley Quinn, but
yes.
I don't know, but that's wifey.
Isn't it Margaret? No.
Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. I forget. Yeah, I forgot about that. When does it come out?
I don't know. They were talking about today. I heard at my job they were talking about like what movies we expect to watch that's coming up, or as an icebreaker. I said Scream, and someone was just like, "Oh, you know they're making a Barbie movie," and I was just like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that."
I'm looking forward to Scream.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't. Okay, so I'm down to go see the Scream one. Like, I mean, I saw the last one, which I wasn't really like, I don't really want to see it, because the last few ones were a little,
This one has Jenna Ortega, so
I heard this one is like
yeah.
there's a lot of reviews with this shit. Apparently, people walked out after like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very gruesome. So I'm excited to see exactly what they got for that.
Yeah, and apparently the last movie that was doing that was that Terrifier 2 movie.
Yeah.
That came out last year, actually, I think.
Yeah.
It's like the clown one and stuff like that. Which I don't know if you guys knew, but the directors from, I think it's the directors from that Terrifier 2, they actually were the ones behind that whole clown face that was happening here on Staten Island.
Really?
Yeah, so like a couple of years ago when they were like had clowns popping up in different areas of Staten Island. So apparently the guys who were behind that are the directors of Terrifier too, and I'm like, oh shit,
So
like
they were scripted? Oh shit.
yeah, so I was like, that's crazy. I mean, yeah.
it's good to hear that they were getting paid for that.
Yeah, so they're the ones who did Terrifier 2, which have you guys seen that movie?
No, bro, I haven't, Jen.
I saw the first one. So basically, because I had seen reviews where they were like, if you're gonna watch the second one, you should watch the first one first. Like, you should watch number 1. And then you'll get what it's about and stuff like that. But it is pretty, like,
Gruesome?
yeah.
Is it gruesome or scary? Like,
It's just gruesome. It's just like, oh,
So, like,
like
a lot
that's
of gore.
gross. Yeah, it's just like, that's
it's
gross.
just
Like,
blood everywhere.
yeah, that's really it. Like, that's the first one. I don't know about the second one, but apparently the second one is worse than the first one. Like, gruesome, more gruesome. So
Do you guys think you guys just got a weak stomach that you think it's gruesome, or is it just like really crazy that you didn't expect a director to actually come up with that?
I feel like that. Like, I feel like, how did they get away with that? If, like, you know how there's, like, a lot of things where, like, you know, a lot of directors are so restricted in certain things. I'm like, okay, you can't do this because, like, people are gonna, like, not watch it, whatever. or there's certain things that you can't put out there. So with this one, I was just like, how? Like, how did you, like, how was this, like, you know, approved?
Disturbing.
Yeah. It's like a mix. It's like certain parts that I'm like, ew. I was like, how did that, like...
Yeah, my favorite saying is you shouldn't be scared of a horror movie. You should be scared of the person who actually came up with that idea.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
For real. Yep. After knowing like the whole history of like how it was like them who won the ones that were doing that, I'm like, bro, like that's crazy.
How dark is your mind?
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, like I have you guys watched the trailer for Scream?
For Scream?
I heard what I was hearing is that the mask is from the old Scream, from the guy who the character was named Billy. Mm-hmm. He was the one behind that Scream mask during the time. So they brought that mask back now, so they think it's just that continuing of that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I know it's in New York City, so shout out to New York. There's a lot of scenes like in the train stations. I saw it. It's gonna be based in the setting of Halloween itself. It's Halloween time.
I mean, I think like Halloween is, you know.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Because I feel like otherwise people would question at least like, why is that guy? I mean, I know New Yorkers like kind of mind their own business, but you would still be like. But
that's the thing, New York. So now, like, to be honest, like
unless you're in Times Square, like people are at least gonna look at you like a little.
Yeah.
It's based in Times Square, so people are probably just like, so it's a Halloween party throughout the time. Like when the movie's filmed and shit, so everyone's already in costumes and shit like that. So you really don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like what movie was it? I think like Joker or V for Vendetta, where everyone just wear the same costume. Yeah. At one point in the train, there was multiple people wearing the same Ghostface picture mask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Like Michael Myers. That shit's fire. I can't wait to see that shit.
Damn. Did it come out already?
It's coming out this Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like the premieres.
Yeah, the premieres right now. It's been coming out this whole week. Right now, they had it in L.A., I believe. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of pop-up shops out there too, which is like they had like their own Scream meal. Like it was like a cheeseburger with a knife inside it, and there was like pins that you had to collect and shit like that.
Do you guys know the Hot Ones on
Hot One Wings?
Yeah.
Yes, I love that show. Shout out to Hot Ones. Yeah. I want to be in that one day.
When I saw Jared Tick on there, I was like, wait, which one was she promoting? But I think she was promoting the Scream movie, right?
Probably, because it's a new
because it just came out like last.
Yeah, so I think it might have been that. Yeah, cause
I honestly prop to her again, you know, recognizing her work, because she's representing Latina women, that like she's very vocal about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, wow, like seeing like a young Latina doing so many like Wednesday. I know she's over Wednesday, but like that was so big.
That's her?
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to National Women's Day.
She's really doing a lot, but I think like we're seeing a lot more women like making it for real. Like,
yeah.
You know.
And they're young.
Yeah, and they're young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're having like directors. I mean, like, who was it that I was like, you know, do you remember Reese Witherspoon? Like, have you watched her movie Legally Blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, cause like, I mean, I didn't even know until maybe like a few months ago that she actually has her own like company that like she makes, like production company that like she funds for like movies and stuff. And I was like, damn, like she's a real businesswoman.
Oh, wow, no, I did not know that.
I think she does like taking like the books to like movies kind of thing too.
Oh, okay. Like,
she focused on that like from the beginning, and I was like, oh shit, like women are taking over. Like,
really? Yeah.
It's about time.
Run the world, guys.
Mood. No, yeah, there's a lot of like, even like directors that are coming out now, like they're like, I don't know at the top of my head, but like a lot of like the actors like we used to see in like movies and stuff like that, now they're just going more into like directing TV shows and like even just movies in general.
Even artists that's music, like there's a lot of women popping out, like a lot of women.
Yeah, that's true. I think in the last few years there's been a lot of women who are getting into like just all types of like genres too. Like we see it in like hip hop, like bro, like
Crazy,
it used to be so hard for like hip hop or females to get into hip hop, but now it's like getting more. It's like easier.
Just take reggaeton, like we had Evie Queen.
That was the
like
main headline right there.
Reggaeton, and now
we got Becky G, Carol G, all the G's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all the G's.
An award too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, okay. So I think this past weekend, they had like a
week or two ago.
There was like a Billboard did a ceremony or award thing. It wasn't like the Billboard Awards, but it was just like a little thing for like a National Women's Month. And they actually gave an award to Evie Queen. I think she was the one who got the main like award. They also gave Becky G an award for her like impact as like I don't know exactly what the title was, but I was like, damn, Ivy Queen actually, one of the things that she was posting on her like social media was like, yes, give me my flowers. I'm going right now to give my flowers now that I'm alive and stuff like that. So basically, like, she's like, I'm not gonna wait until like I'm dead so you can give me the flowers. Like, I'm going to get the flowers that I deserve right now.
We need the recognition now. It's like a lot of times, once they pass away, that's when people are like, oh my god, like tribute to this artist. And it's like, bro, like why didn't you do that when they were alive?
Exactly.
It's literally that's when they need it. And not even like they need it, but like people need to see it.
Yeah, it's the recognition. So you gotta shine when you're alive, bro, because when you're dead you don't get to see all the path or the power that you left behind and shit like that.
You don't get to see the impact that you had on people's lives. Like being able to see that in person is more meaningful than when you're 6 feet underground. Like
when she was performing, bro, like you literally saw the evolution of how when she first started to like all her new music now, which was fire. And like they even said, because I saw some of it also. My grandma, shout out to grandma's watching it. She loves watching award shows. I found out recently, so I was like, interesting. Now I know where music comes from with us. But like we were watching it and she was like, it's crazy how we saw all the generation of her and how she changed over the time, from wearing the baggy cargo pants to dressing nice and bougie. Like shout out to Evie Queen, because I remember when I was younger, bro, my aunt Rosa used to play her all the time, bro. All the time. So that's how I found out about her, and seeing her like on stage and actually getting recognized. It was like she's the first. She's not the first, but she's a Puerto Rican woman who actually like was a staple to like reggaeton for like for the culture. Like if anyone could look back in history and see what reggaeton was, it was her for women. So it was fire.
There's actually a podcast about basically the evolution of reggaeton, and she's the only female artist on that podcast. Like one of the and it's crazy because she basically firsthand is telling her story on the podcast of like what she experienced becoming being like basically how reggaeton became. And it's crazy hearing her stories because she actually went through it. And it's like she talks about like how she was she started off just making music in those like small rooms and stuff like that, or going to performing in like little small clubs. She narrated like the entire podcast. So basically it wasn't like her telling her story like firsthand, like directly, but she was introducing basically going throughout the history of reggaeton. Like she was talking about like this person was part of this year and whatever, and I see like introducing people, narrating the whole reggaeton, but then she was also able to give her own personal experience, which was pretty cool because it's like you get to hear like her side of like what happened in the reggaeton. Like
where is that, like on YouTube or what?
It's on Spotify. On Spotify. It's cool. It's pretty old actually. I think it's like 2 or 3 years old.
2 or 3 years ago we were middle.
Pandemic days.
Yeah, I think because when I watched it, it had already came out like. Had probably been out more than a year, so I'm like, it's cool though. I like it.
I think another woman who should be like get her flowers too, and it's underrated music. It's Chicano music. Is Miss Crazy. She made a big influence for people too as well.
In like the Chicano.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Chicano.
Yeah, Chicano.
That's like underviewed and shit like that. Like she was another person who should get her flowers because she left a lot, bro. Like a lot behind.
Yeah, she like. Do you know Miss Crazy? Okay, I guess so, like
Edie Queen of Chicano rap.
Of Chicano rap,
She's
yeah, like literally like the
Chicano
in between, yeah.
If you guys didn't know, I know that type of music. I know all types of music. Just I know my little cholitas. You feel me?
Yeah, no, she had some pretty like her songs really talked a lot about like her situation on her
barrio,
like
bro.
like in like the barrio and stuff like that, but she talked about also like her relationship with her partners and stuff like that.
Her daughters.
She had her daughters. What was her?
That was a good song.
That's what I know. You're like, yeah. There's a song where she basically talks about her daughter, right? But it's like such a nice song. Like
bro,
it
will make you cry.
Yeah, like that song, like the way that she talks about it is, she has a really nice voice too. Like it's like Mexican rap, but like she like her lyrics and stuff like that, they're really nice.
Do you know Slow That Product? You don't know?
Damn. Okay, Snow That Product is also she's Mexican American, bro. Snow That Product is living her best life, though.
She has her own podcast too.
Yeah. She has her own podcast.
Tap in.
And she has her own like rancho in Cali. Cali, like, and that's the thing, because she grew up in Mexico. Like she wasn't born in Mexico, but she was raised like in Mexico and stuff like that. So she always said, like, once I become big, like, I want to have a rancho here. Like, usually it's like a rancho in Mexico, right? It's easier to get ranchos over there. But she was like, I'm gonna find a way to see if I can get a rancho here in California, like LA. Like, I think it's like, yeah,
Mexico at one point.
Yeah. And basically she bought her own whole like rancho and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's so funny because she has goats and like chickens and stuff like that. One of her goats is she named him Drake.
That's great. That's so fire.
I think it's Drake, and
next
then
one is 1-0.
I forget the other goats' names, but they're great.
Yo, did you see her podcast with Santa Fe? I think his name was. What's his name?
Yeah.
That
Santa
shit
Fe.
was funny. He's like, fuck the police. I was like,
yeah.
yo, no.
What was he trying to say?
Talking about how he was heartbroken and everything and shit. Like that. He's like, no, fuck that shit. Say it with me, fuck that. And he was like, fuck the police. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel you, gang. Take that shot.
That shit was so funny. I was like, oh, poor guy. But yeah, she's also like doing a lot of stuff in music industry, and her song, she talks about also like how men in the industry have always like came at her, and also because she raps in English and Spanish so fluent. Like, it's crazy how like she goes from English to Spanish in like seconds. It's just, it's so smooth too. Yeah, like it just goes. And it's like, and she said it before, like there's so many males in like this industry that can't do that. Like they can't even do it in English. Like
it's the definition of just the misogyny and like, you know, all these machistas, like,
exactly.
You know, and obviously like they're always the ones that are kind of not, you know, halting them, like, these women from making it like really big, because it's like, instead of like supporting her or like, you know, they always have to find a reason to like, they're just petty. They're way petty. Yeah. You know, like worse than women. Like we're petty, but shit.
It's so funny because she has a song named Petty. Like literally, one of her songs is Petty.
Good for her.
She knows.
She knows something.
That's, I think, any industry. It's like, it's so hard, especially when it's already like everything was male dominated from the beginning. So obviously, like once women come in, it's like, obviously they're not gonna be able to make it the way that, you know, like all the men have. It's like,
I don't know why men feel so intimidated by women sometimes. It's just like, bro, like, let them shine, gang. Like, the fuck?
Yep. I also know that, like, when I say men, because I know a lot of people are always like, not all men. It's like,
I'm one of those, not all men.
But it's like,
women rights, equality.
It wouldn't bother you when people generalize it if it's not about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the way it sure, I'm saying men generally, but it doesn't mean you, right?
Yeah.
If it's not you, then you wouldn't be reacting.
As we say, if the shoe fits, say it, boss. Say it. Wear it. Go, boss. Say it. Cinderfucking-rella.
Yep. That's the one. That's the one. Yep. And that's the thing that, like, I obviously people feel offended or attacked because for some reason, if they don't want to admit it, they might feel like they belong in that, like, category that you're talking about.
Exactly.
It's crazy because it's like, again, if the shoe fits, Cinderella, like. So yeah, like, I guess you only get offended if, you know, you fit in that category. That, I guess that also does, like, that has a lot to do, like, they start feeling like some type of way if, like, you know, like, why is this person, this female in particular, like, you know, doing that? Like, they start feeling insecure, like, there's like that.
Like it's a men's world when it's not.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
I mean, they're also like a lot.
there ain't no machismo type of shit. Like, oh, the men are supposed to be powerful or smart. And like, nah, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, women are like elite than us. Low key, I ain't gonna hold you.
It's, you know, part of everyone's upbringing, like what,
Yes.
like what you're. It shapes, you know, the way that you view things. But I think a lot of times it's like, how do I say this? It's like there's still a lot of women also who are still living in the, like, I guess,
The Montanan mindset. The Montanan.
like,
That's how I say it, right? That's how I say it? That they're supposed to take care of me because I'm a woman type shit. Is that what you're trying to say? Or no?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
you know, like, I guess, like, the old school, like
a stay at home. Yeah, yes.
Home.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, to the extent where they just keep ingraining that into their children, like, this is the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, it's not a way, but I'm saying, like, these people are just like, this is the only way.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's like, okay, like, you have to have some sort of, like, you know, flexibility, because it's like not. I think a lot of people now, there's a lot of single women. I'm just saying, I know a lot of single women, and I think that's part of the reason, because I mean, no one's gonna settle anymore. I'm sorry, but it's 2023. No one's gonna settle if that's not the way that they want it. You know, that they see their life. Like, women are not settling anymore. You can work. You can make your own money. You can do your own thing. Like, you don't need a man.
Yeah.
So if he's not adding anything to you and the way that you're living, to your happiness, then, like, you know, why?
I think it's either like you said, it's like old fashioned traditional shit, but at the same time I feel like it was set in, like, not trying to come at people, like females, not females, women, not trying to come at women, but like growing up, princess movies was like, you know, the prince or the king supposed to come save you, they're supposed to do all this shit. So like obviously, like, people are gonna feel that way, and I understand that. And that saying where it's like, if he would he should, or something like that. If he wanted to, he would do it.
If he wanted to, he would.
But like, bro, at the same time, like, we can't always do what you want, and like at the end of the day, like, God forbid, like, yeah, we're together, you're staying at home, I get sick, we have kids, who's gonna hold down the house when I die? Like, you gonna go find the next one to go hold it down? Like, no, what the fuck?
Yeah, eventually you have to take the lead.
Exactly. Like, me growing up, honestly, I was just taught, like, how we've already said, like, everyone's taught differently. Like, my mom told me straight up, like, yo, never ever downgrade a girl. Like, a girl is equal to you. Like, she does, because, like, there was at one point where we were watching a show, and I was playing with my sister, right? And it was like, they were like, oh, we gotta clean this and that. And then the show was like, oh, the brother doesn't have to clean because he's not a female. So I was like, damn, Christine, playing around. I'm like, damn, Christine, if like back in the days I would have to chill while you had to go clean. My mom put me in my spot the moment I said that, bro. My sister was coloring her book while I was doing dishes, taking the trash out, sweeping. I was like, after that I learned my lesson. I'm like, nah, like in reality it's true though. Like we're all equal. Like let's just say my shorty's sick, she can't do anything, I'ma hold it down. Yeah, I'm sick, exactly. She's supposed to hold it down. Yeah. And it's just like the way that people were thought and shit. Like and I get where men want to be like, oh, I'm gonna hold my shorty down, this and that. You can hold her down, bro, but you fuck up or some shit, like you don't want to be with her. What the fuck is she gonna go fall back on? Nothing. Yeah. She's gonna have to find someone else. Yeah. Or if a girl's like, oh, I'm gonna be a stay at home, blah 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 blah. My man does this. Okay, then what happens when he gets sick? Are you gonna hold it down, or who's gonna go from there? Yeah. It all depends on the person, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially now in this economy, you can't just chill. No. It's like you gotta find a way to like. Shit. We unfortunately are being raised in like in a generation where like everything money wise, everything is like super expensive, and it's like we don't have the same like privilege as our younger generations, like because they're like.
I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of people, like you've already just said, oh, there's a lot of women who are single, but they're single because people don't meet their expectations or their goals where they want it to be. Like no one's gonna come and give you a horse. You feel me? Like it's like you guys gotta work together to get there yourself. Like it cannot just be given to you just like that.
Right. No, I'm not saying that, like, obviously everyone has their own expectations. Like you all have, like, everyone's needs are different, but I think from most like people that I have talked to, it's not even about like material things, because like I said, women can work. Like if you have your own money, like what you can buy stuff for yourself. So I think that's kind of where we're like stuck, because communication is very important in a relationship. Yeah. But I think it's like if the woman's communicating and the person's just not receiving, like they're not taking that in, like maybe she just wants you to spend more time with her. Like a lot of times that's what's happened. It's like they just want to spend time with you. They want you to pay attention to like their interests, give them like a flower here and there, like not just on Valentine's Day, like kind of stuff. No, you gotta like I'm saying, like these are little things. Like, what's up that, with it? Yeah, I know what you mean. Like these are things that just show like how much you care about a person. Mm-hmm. I think that's like where women are finding that like it's not there, like because also I know that men like just weren't really raised that way, but like I think it's like if you see that it's something that the person that you want to be with, like if you really want to be with this person, like you would make that attempt. Obviously meet them halfway or something.
I agree with you.
Like so I don't think it's so much like, I know there's people with like really unrealistic expectations
for sure,
but then there's also like like
the
bare minimum.
No, for a fact, like how you just said it, like girls who just wants the feeling, the emotions and all the affection, and like how you just said, not a lot of guys know that, share that or do that. I'm one of the guys who don't know how to be affectionate. I'd be like, yo bro, toughen up, that's life, you gotta keep on going. You feel me? Like I don't know, that's just me. I'm just like, you're good, you're still breathing, you still got a house over your head, like this is just feelings, it's gonna go away. But sometimes you just need to hug a person, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't know how to do that sometimes. I was just not exactly, like sometimes you gotta let it out. It's just like, for me honestly, as a guy, it's not that, I guess I could just say like I wasn't showed how to be affectionate. And my parents really never showed each other affection besides behind closed doors, probably, because they were always telling like, nah, we don't do, like when I had girlfriends over there, they're like, you can't be doing that just out in public, that's in closed door shit. So me growing up, I was like, I can't show you emotions in public because it might make someone uncomfortable.
I think that's another thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like PDA, people have different comfort levels.
Now I'm just like hugging people. I'm trying my best.
And I guess it also like again comes back to like the older like like generation, I guess, because before like traditional ways, like in like growing up, my mom even would be like, oh, you know, when I was growing up, we couldn't do this, like, or we couldn't wear certain things because it was like you were showing too much, or like you were like red lipstick, or even nails done, like they couldn't get their nails done. So like, so even like when my like having like my grandparents like, you know, stay with us and stuff like that, like there's certain comments that would be made, and it's like, excuse me, like it's normal for me, like this is like this, and it also has to do with like country that you're living in, right? For us, there's a lot of things here in the US that we see like normal, right? Like, and then over there for them, they might be like, in Mexico, right? In Mexico might be like, why do they do that? Why do they talk that certain way? Like, but for us, it's just like, that's how we talk. That's even just like, there's always that whole thing of like, if they see you with the boy, right? Like, you could just be talking to the boy, like, would they automatically think, are you guys dating? Are you guys a thing? Yep. Like, oh my God.
I feel like that's guys with girls too, because that... I'm sorry. I just always get accused that I have a new girlfriend. My cousin used to be like, "Yo, bro, you change your girlfriend more than you change your underwear." I used to be like, "Bro, what you mean? I'm just talking to her. That's a friend, gang. What the fuck?"
No, and you see, like that could. It just goes like both ways, right? But it's also like it has to do with a lot of like, in like being a female and stuff like that. It's usually like, oh, you shouldn't be hanging out with all these guys. Like, why are you hanging out with so many guys, right? And it's like, well, like, sometimes you just have, like, you just get along more with guys than with females. Honestly, because let's be real. Like, there's times that females, with each other, they, like, there's hate. There's always, like, comments, like, bad. Yeah.
And it's because, again, women are just, like, pitted against each other from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's a mix, you know. It's like the way that you're raised, but also people around you. Like if they're putting that energy out there, then it's like
no, it does have to do a lot. Like there's a different, like just like the way you grow up, like from the people around you and stuff like that. It ties. There's a lot of factors in there.
Question for both of you: would you guys want that old traditional lifestyle, or would you like to have a new modern relationship?
I would be like in between.
Okay.
Because like there's certain things that like I get it. Like don't fucking tell me that I belong in the kitchen. Like don't do that. Like no. Like but I know what, like honestly, like I'm always like, I know what I bring to the table. Like and it, you know, I don't have to be in the kitchen to demonstrate that. Like, I have other skills. I have other, like, so, yeah, like, I get that. But there's also, like, the traditional, like, you know, there's always, like, as much as you try to, you know, there's, like, that phrase, like, see, you can't, there's, like, different ways to say it, but there's, like, you were raised like this, but you can, like, you'll never forget where you come from and stuff like that, or you'll never take that, whatever you learn, away from me and stuff like that. Honestly, it is like that. Like, there's certain things that it's just, like, it depends on the person, right? If you want to be living like that and stuff like that, it's, like, all right, follow those ways. But if you want to grow, you're gonna have to, like, release yourself from the traditional stuff. But you also just remember that.
Then another one for that. So are you the type to be like, since you're like, you saying the traditional, know what you bring on your table and shit, are you the type to bring the plate to the man first so he could eat and then bring your plate after?
He can serve himself.
Really?
I will serve myself.
Okay, I see that. I'm the type to serve myself if she could serve herself. Or I don't mind serving her if she could serve mine, but I'm gonna wait for me and her to eat at the same time. I'm not gonna eat without her.
Okay, no, that's definitely a thing.
That's what I was trying to say.
Eat together, but you know.
Heard him.
Yeah.
What about you, boss?
For me, I think I'm living a mix. So, I mean, it's like I think the whole like the plate thing. That's something that a lot of people talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's like different cultures have like different. You know, like for us, it's like, oh, the woman eats last, but mainly because she's
in the kitchen cooking.
But it's like usually like kids first, right? You know, it's like usually you give the kids first. In like Asian culture, it's like you have to serve your elders, right? But like women are serving their elders and they're serving like their husband usually. But I don't know, because it's like with like with Derek, it was kind of like that. Like at first it was like that, like, okay, like, why are you expecting something like this from me, right? And then it was interesting when I realized, like, okay, like, there's also like that cultural aspect of it, and he did kind of like want to play into the whole, like, oh, you're the woman, you have to serve me, and I was like, no, sweetie. Like, no, like, he said we're a team, right? I'm like, you said we're a team, so we're a team, right? But no, like, I mean, it was just like funny, I guess, but he was like, nah, like, it's, yeah, like, we're a team. So like, thankfully he's not like that. Like, if I want, like, si yo te quiero servir, if I want to serve you, then that's because it's coming from me. Like, I'm doing it because I want to, not because I have to.
Yeah.
So then it's like, get it correct, you know, like, and the same thing, because, like, even he will, like, you know, if he sees, like, oh, I'm serving the plates, like, he'll take it to the table, you know, like, he'll be like, oh, like, what else do you need? Like, we have the plates? Do we have the forks? Do we have the cups? Like, you know, what do you want to drink? Like, so he's helping out. Like, it's not just me. And I think that's something different from what I saw growing up, because it's always the mom. Like, the mom's always like, oh, like, you know, ¿qué quieres, hija? Like, what do you want to drink? Like, and the dad's just sitting there, and then she's, like, serving everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, now that I think about it, I'm like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Like, and even after, like, the family's done eating, like, most of them, at least my dad, like, he's not washing the dishes. He's not cleaning up the table. He just goes and sits down, watches TV. Why? Because, like, he brings most of the income, right? And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I guess.
Question for you with that. So, you know how you just said it with the income and everything? Like, as she said, tradition is that, oh, the woman has to stay home, clean up, cook and everything because the guy's coming home with the money. Do you feel like that's how it is? Like, do you feel like that's a right thing to do? Because me growing up personally, like, my mom and dad was both going to work. So, like, I would see some days my mom would cook or my dad would cook, or, like, he'll clean the house one day and then my mom will clean it. So that's why I was able to learn, like, nah, we're equal. Like, no one's going to do over it. Because, like, there was days my mom came in tired from work. She didn't want to do anything. You feel me? So, like, I understood that shit. But, like, do you feel like now, like, if you was to have that right now, like, you're staying at home, would you be fine with him just coming home and just sitting there? Or do you be like, you gotta help me too because I'm tired too?
It's like, I think the way that people see it is like, oh, the woman's staying home, she's not doing anything. Yeah. But it's like, realistically, she's doing everything, like, behind the scenes, basically.
It's like a full-time job,
like 24/7.
Yeah.
You're not getting off. There is no clock out time for you if you're a stay-at-home mom. You're literally there 24/7. Yeah. If you have to wake up at 2, 3, 4 a.m., like, guess what? Like, she's doing it because that's her job.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know. It's like, you can't expect someone to shoulder all of that, because not only is she doing the physical work, but she's doing the mental work. And, like, honestly, like, that affects people. Like, so many women, and you're isolating the person. You're basically isolating them, because if they're staying home all day doing all this, it's like, what's that doing for their mental health? Like, women also need to socialize. They're human. They need that space to be themselves, to not just be the stay-at-home mom. Like, they're also their own person. They have a hobby or an activity that they want to do. I don't know, leisure time. Like I said, there's no clock out time for them. So when do they get to have that time for themselves?
Yeah,
I agree with that, because, like, how you said, like, they're at work, but when you're at work, yes, you're working mentally or with your body, but your wife or whoever's at home, staying at home, is taking care of the kids, making sure you got a meal coming home, the laundry's done, you got clothes for tomorrow, you got a bed to sleep in, it's comfortable, you got soap and everything that you need a shower for. Like, not a lot of people see those little shit, and that's why, like, that stay-at-home mom stigma comes into play. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, the fuck? But at the same time, it comes at the same time where it's helpful, because at least someone's home to take care of the kids and help them raise it and shit like that.
Yeah, I think that's also, I don't know if either of you guys have heard this, but it's also, like, a lot more people are talking about it now, where it comes in, like, the point of view from, like the American side, like, that views how, like, you know, raising the kids and, like, how the family's supposed to function, because they're very individualistic in the fact that it's, like, only the nuclear family is involved, like, especially when it comes to, like, raising kids and stuff. like it seems like more of the nuclear family, like the mom and the dad are just the ones raising the kids. But like I feel like in Latino culture, it's like it's not just the mom and dad. It's like it's the tios, the tias, the primos, the primos. Like,
it depends.
It depends. Yeah, but
it depends. But I think we see that a lot more.
Yeah.
Than here. So
than this, yeah.
I think parents take a lot of that burden.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, like my family, like if I can help, look after my cousin, then I'll do it, and then like, give some of that like.
I feel like that's now though, because back then I felt like no parent had hope. Like, not that they didn't have hope, but they didn't have no other resources like to take care of it or pay the daycare and everything. Now, like for example, how you take care of your cousin and all that. Same thing with me with my son. Like, if I can't make it, I got my sister. If I can't count my sister, my brother, my mom, my dad, his side of the family or something to do it.
Personally, we did have that like where my aunt was helping take care of my cousins, like my sister, myself, and then I would also pitch in as the oldest child, obviously. But it was like, like between the sisters, like they helped each other. So I saw that growing up, and that's kind of like what creates that sense of familiarity, like that's what creates the family. And it's like that's why you consider these people so close to you, because it's like you grow up with them, they're also like a second mom or a third mom. So yeah, like I think definitely it depends. Depends on the family, but like not everyone's close.
Yeah.
But, for us, like I did see that. Like,
I could definitely see that now. It explains a lot. Yeah, it's really close. Okay.
So I just have one question for you, right? Is there anybody who you can, like any female, once again, like woman in your life that you looked up to growing up, or like right now, is there anybody that you, like any woman that you look up to?
Honestly, like there was always women around me, like women who are part of my life that like, I feel like every woman I meet literally like makes an impact in my life somehow. Like my role models growing up was my Aunt Rosa, my grandma, and my mom. Like they showed me like just at one point my mom was a single mom, and so was my aunt and everything. So I got to see exactly like front like how it's a struggle of a woman, like a woman struggles by herself and is able to accomplish way much things than they think they could. So seeing that was just like making me like growing up respect women. Like, yo, like you don't need a man. Like I would even tell anyone who like if I was ever in a relationship or anything, I'd be like, yo, you shouldn't even cry for me. Like never cry for a man. Like at the end of the day, like you're stronger than that and this and that. But every day, like there's always gonna be a woman who come into my life who's gonna teach me like different things, like how to love, how to feel, how to care, how to communicate and shit like that. Because, yeah, my mom was like a good role model, but she wasn't there to interact with me to actually learn specific feelings on how to show to other people. So, like, I wouldn't say I was like always like, oh my God, I can't show feelings, this and that, I'm tough, blah, blah, blah. Like, my mom used to tell me straight up, it's like, why are you scared? You shouldn't be scared. So I wasn't able to like process feelings like that until later on, a female showed me how to do that. Every woman that came into my life is like someone who influenced me, but the main three is just my mom, my grandma, Mama Rosa, literally.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on like the household that you're being raised in, like because there's even that, like there's sometimes people who are just like, no, like I don't see them as a role model, but they have like other people, like there's some people who have mentors, right, that they look up to, who are female mentors. I honestly wish I had a mentor because it's just like there's certain things that, especially in like in like a Hispanic household, like we don't grow up like having like somebody who's gonna guide you, especially being undocumented or immigrant family. It's like you don't have that guidance. You don't know, like, okay, you don't get that business talk, or you don't get that like, okay, like health, mental health issues, like you don't get that. So like being able to, I guess like now, going into school and like getting a degree or whatever, like growing up, you're, at least for me now, be able to tell, if I have kids later on, you could tell them like, okay, you have the skills to or tools to tell them, like, so
being an independent woman, you don't need no one else.
Yeah, and it's also 2023. Like you can always just get a sperm donor, and that's it. Like that's it. You don't really need a man.
overall, I think we learned that the presence of a woman is just very important. No matter how you see it, whether it's the lack of or the presence of. So I think, yeah, like that just opens up the conversation of like how important every woman is in people's lives. But yeah, so I guess let us know what female you looked up to the most or you look up to the most right now. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. So,
and we'll be back next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, stay tuned. Stay tuned if you haven't watched our 1 through 4 episodes of Unraveling the Mind. Tap in with that, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
And don't forget to follow us on social media.
Word. Follow us on social media. I'm on TikTok too, so stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.